GS500 I've just picked up off Gumtree. Actually, he wasn't on Facebook, he was on Gumtree. So it looked pretty good in the pictures. By the description, it sounded like it was going to be a fairly easy fix. He said it runs until it gets hot, and then it stops and it won't start. Now that sounds to me a lot like the pickup coil issue which I had on the Triumph, and that is apparently a general issue for these bikes. So when I got it there, he said that it was whining for a while and then shorting, but I recognise that as a symptom of a flat battery, so that didn't worry me. So yeah, but the more I look at it, the more I think that maybe I should have just said no, but I got him down to a really good price, and well, I'm a sucker, I guess. So yeah, fairing here, probably pretty much unfixable, I'd say. Big piece missing there that you didn't have. I do have the lower fairings. They do look great with the lower fairings. I still got a lot of oil up around the oil cooler. I don't know whether that's just a gasket problem or what, but I've also noticed that on the other side the muffler clamp's not on, and neither is it on at the back here. So yeah, the whole muffler's sort of held on by, well, there's probably something underneath, but basically by the one muffler clamp on this side. It went, which was fair enough. I did put the jump pack on it. But yeah, he said it had just had fork seals done, but one of the fork seals is leaking after the trip home. So I reckon maybe someone's done it themselves, or he's just full of crap. Chain guards off for some reason. Chain's really sticky, like they've just oiled it. So I don't know about that, but it seemed a little bit strange. Handlebars. So we need a new set of hand grips. Not really sure what the guards with this. I'll have to have a look at the pictures. I also see that it's got mirror mounts on the handlebar, whereas it's got mirrors on the fairing. So I don't know whether this is replaced off a different bike, or yeah, it's all, this one here's definitely got a different handle on it. All little things I can worry about. First of all, I'm going to put the battery on the tender and get it charged up so that I can give it a decent run tomorrow, and yeah, we'll see how we go from there. Well, this battery fought me all the way. I just had it on trickle charge overnight, and it got up to number 2. So this morning I put it on to recondition, and now it's up to number 6. So that's a good sign. I just can't believe it's taken this long. But yeah, hopefully I can save this battery and continue to use it. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the battery to charge, I've been removing the plastics, and they're pretty much all buggered. I'll put this one up here. It looks awesome from the front, but big chunk missing out the side. There's bits inside where the headlights bolt on that have been snapped off. The inner part of it's not too bad, but there's little bits missing here and there. I pulled off the plastics from around the back of the seat. They've all been broken, and I've got some pretty crap repairs on them. There's a whole post snapped off there. So I'd say she's pretty much done. I can't see that these are repairable. I had a quick look on eBay. There is one front fairing available for about $350 in the US, which means it will be $700 plus freight for me to get it here, so more than the bikes cost me, so that's not going to happen. Looking at the way the headlight was mounted here, it looks to me like it's going to be fairly easy just to adapt that for a different style of headlight. I might put a little quarter fairing or something on it. I'm just having a look around to see what I can get. There is the Torbenly swap meet next weekend. I don't know if this video will come out before that, but we'll see how we go. I don't want to pop the seat back on to see how much of this stuff on the side is covered, because without the pull cord on it, the seat will then be shut forever. It'll be quite difficult to get open, so I'm just going to scavenge the cord for that, because I would probably, maybe now that we're here, cut it down as a bobber or a cafe, maybe put some flatter bars on it, little quarter fairing out the front. Yeah, just simplify it somewhat. A lot of this stuff can be moved to just inside that frame rail there, so it is nice to have the rectifier regulator here out in the wind, but not such a big thing. It's appalling to me that a bike that's only this old, I mean, I realise it's 20 years old, but I've generally worked on things older than that, has had such bodging done to it. Like they've lost a screw out of there and put a different one on it, or mangled it getting it out. Yeah, anyway, it's probably more of a challenge that I should have took on, but I'm here now, so we'll just crack on. Notice this bolt at the back of the instruments seems to be broken, so I'm going to pull the cover off the instrument cluster and see if I can do anything about it. I've undone the other 3 bolts, and there's really no way to fix the one that snapped off there, because the inner bolt has snapped out of the plastic housing that it was in. So I'm just going to try and hold it with the very long nose vice grips. And take the bolt off. The problem is, if I bring my camera around far enough for you to see, the glare from the sun makes it unwatchable. So I'm sorry if you can't quite see what I'm doing. But I would have to take off more than I wish to take off if I wanted to give you a closer look at this, and it's just a tiny job. So doing it a bit, you can see it's just come out of the plastic. Look, I could try gluing it in there, but it'll probably just come out again. I think that the one hole will be enough to hold it in place, so I don't think I'm going to stress about it at all. Okay, well, the battery's charged up to number 7 on the C-Tech. It hasn't gone into float, but then that might just, into storage, but then that might just be because I did have it on regenerate. So I'm not going to start the bike until I've done something with this exhaust. As you can see here, one exhaust clamp is hanging off, and as I showed you earlier, there's nothing underneath there, and the one at the back here is not on. So I shudder to think that they've been riding the bike around like this, but I suspect maybe they have. So I'm going to get some bolts and see if I can sort this out. Okay, well, in a stroke of luck, which has me worried because it's 7:30 in the morning, and if I've used up my luck already, the rest of the day could be quite bad. The parts diagram said that the muffler clamp bolts were M8 by 40, and I happen to have a couple of them. I have just noticed that I've popped them in without washers, but it all seems to be quite tight in there, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now we will see if the battery has charged. I saw it choke somewhere over here. Oh, pull the clutch in while you hit the button. Hang on a second. Well, it's running, but not well. It did appear to have been out of fuel, so I don't know how much crap's gone down with the carbies, but we'll just have to take it from there and see what I can do with it. Okay, so I've done some tests on this. I put a hose on here, got my wife to suck on it, and then I blew through these smooth positions. It's got a bit of a leak, so I have seen these identified as one of the major problems with these vehicles, so I'm thinking that I'm going to rebuild it. And I figure if I'm going to rebuild it, I may as well first just pull it apart and see if maybe it's just dirty. So we will have a look. Seems to be a pH1. Now, I have been having a look at the replacement for these are about $150, but then the rebuild kits are about $70. But I saw more poor reviews on the complete replacement carburetors than I did on the rebuild kits, so I'm thinking that the rebuild kit may be the way to go. So I've got an O-ring there. No, I got a wave washer. A plastic ring. I'm hoping that's in screen. Yeah, that sort of seems to be able to move from there to there. So and then we have this fella here that looks like a smiley face. And he appears to be as hard as a rock. So yeah, maybe it is time to change all this. And then our other side here. we have our oh, why can't I think of what it's called? Anyway, that feels like crap. So, yeah. I think I've probably done the right thing here. And I'll be ordering a new one of these. And yes, hopefully that will solve my problem. So that goes on that side with that steel plate, and the other bit comes through here with the little O-ring there. Yes, that does not feel particularly good. I might just leave that like that so that I'm not confused as to which way they go back together when I get the new part to put in there. Yes, no, that certainly looks very thin. So, yes, okay, well that's about where we're at with that. Well, this bike's just giving me more and more grief and drama than I ever thought it would. So it started once, but then it's refused to start again. So I've just bought new spark plugs and I've hooked it up to the IB line so that I can take the old spark plugs. It was sparking on the old spark plug, but it wouldn't fire. So this way I've also taken that fuel tap out of the equation. So let's see if she'll run. Okay, well I think that sort of tells a bit of the story there. So the problem is that I've done two things at once. I've changed the plugs and I've replaced the fuel tap. So one of those or both of those has helped. So I've ordered the Petcock rebuild kit on a slow boat from China. So it's going to be some time until that's ready. So we might just leave this here and I will bring it up again when we get to that point. Thanks very much.